When I decided to do this, I started calling all the formulation labs pretty much throughout the country. They actually will create the beverage for you. You just give them your idea. That's how most beverages on the market right now, that's how they develop their products. So they rarely do it internally. They always go out saying that, hey, I need to develop an energy drink, for example. And they'll just throw a bunch of stuff there and then you just try them out, see if that works.
Well, hi there, and welcome to Side Hustle Hero, the show that inspires action and helps you to grow your side hustle into a thriving income stream. I'm your host, Joan Posivy. Do you know what it takes to create a new beverage for the market? I sure didn't. This was the first time I'd ever heard of a formulation lab, and I find the whole process pretty intriguing. Today we hear from full-time optometrist Dr. Roger Wu, who guides us through what it takes to go from idea to shelf to start your own drink brand. Yes, it's costly. That part's no surprise. But it also requires tenacity because clearly you need to be dedicated, persistent, and clearly resourceful to bring a physical product like this to life. From dealing with co-packers and shelf life testing, to getting laughed off the phone by labs, to recruiting a beverage industry heavyweight to join his startup, Roger shares it all. One quick heads up about this particular episode. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe a tech gremlin snuck in. But when it came time to edit, we discovered that the only person captured on video was me. So for the rest of the episode, you'll be hearing the conversation without seeing me or my guest. That said, definitely stick around to the end because in the wrap-up, I share a true against-the-odds story of how a young entrepreneur who started by raiding his piggy bank of its last $3 at the age of 13, got his homemade jam into a major grocery store chain by the time he was just 18. So now here's my conversation on the inside scoop of what it takes to bring a beverage idea to life with optometrist and creator of the iDrink, Dr. Roger Wu. Well, welcome, Roger.
Hello.
Many great side hustle businesses grow out of a problem or an issue that the entrepreneur sees. What common problem were you seeing in your patients that you thought that you could help solve?
Well, number one is, especially the past 10, 15 years, people are so reliant on their devices, cell phone, iPad, computers, and the issues are getting worse. That's the frustrating part that all the advices that I gave to my patients, pretty much, I would say 95% of those, I just fell on deaf ears. So including my kids and my wife and all my relatives, they just wouldn't listen to me until they're having issue with their eyes. That's the biggest frustration that I'm dealing with pretty much on a daily basis. Okay.
And so what caused you to explore a solution to it then?
Moving forward, pandemic, everyone's doing this remotely. Even this interview right now is done remotely. So the issues become even worse. Especially the population, the age of the patients are becoming younger and younger and younger. We're seeing 14-year-old kids getting macular issues. We have 17-year-olds start developing cataract. That's how ridiculous it become. And 9-year-old getting severe dry eye just because the entire summer their iPad is their nanny.
And this is not something that optometrists saw at such a young age 20 years ago. Is that what you're saying?
20 years ago, if we see anyone, I would say if I saw anyone 40 or below getting severe dry eyes, one of the first thing that we did back then is order a blood test. Okay, CBC, there's got to be something inflammatory within your system causing the dry eye at such a young age. Now, if I had to order blood tests, I'll be ordering 40, 50 blood tests every week.
Wow.
Okay, doesn't make any sense, right? So it's definitely caused by our devices. And then, if you talk to a lot of key opinion leaders in the eye care industries, everyone agreed that, the screen time is the number one cause of dry eye these days. It's not high blood pressure, it's not diabetes, not rheumatoid arthritis, it's all those things. It's the screen time that's causing the dry eyes.
What's the downside of dry eyes?
I mean, early stage, obviously, your vision fluctuates, and then your eye get, basically you experience more tearing. Believe it or not, when the eye get dry, your eye start to tear, and it's having that burning sensations. And then the surface of your eye, the front part, we call the cornea, the surface will actually start to peel, just like our skin gets too dry, start to peel.
Okay.
The only difference between the skin and the cornea is cornea has no blood vessels. So when you have a severe peeling of the skin, at least you can, eventually you have some ulcer, some bleeding there to warn you about, right?
Hmm.
But cornea is completely different. Okay, if the peeling is it's basically prolonged, eventually you just turn into scarring.
Right.
Okay, it
Okay.
depends on how lucky you are or how unlucky you are. If
Right.
the scar are actually located right at the center, it's going to permanently affect your visions.
Sure.
So that's the issue that we're seeing right now.
Well, how did you end up coming up with the idea of a drink to address this problem?
It's you can say it's complete out of frustrations, okay? Because
Okay.
we keep telling people, or especially younger adults, hey, drink more water, drink more water. Everyone's on their coffee, energy drinks, things like this,
Hmm.
and they're just simply not drinking enough water. That's the first thing. And
Right.
then we keep telling them to take some, omega-3, DHA, EPA to improve their dry eyes, and people just don't do it. The compliance rate is less than 10%, way less than 10%. That's from my experience.
Yes.
But if you ask kids, do you drink prime beverage, Gatorade, things like this? Oh yeah, they drink those like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So or naked juice, things like this. So they don't drink enough water. That's the issue. So I decided to develop a beverage, which is first of its kind in the world. That's got all the key ingredients, scientifically backed ingredients. Now there is international study to back up the ingredients. So that the ingredient of the eye drink actually protect your macula from blue light damage, number one, and also trying to minimize dry eye issue because we also put DHA and EPA there, and then it's a 16.9 ounce bottle, just like a Gatorade.
Okay.
So internally we call it the Gatorade for the eyes. Okay, yeah, my team would say the Gatorade for the eyes. So essentially, it is, yeah. And then if you show the ingredient to all the doctors, eye doctors,
Yes.
they will say, "Wow, this is perfect ingredient. It's all the right ratios, everything."
So instead of popping a pill, you're encouraging this drink. So they're
Yes,
getting the
yeah,
water that you've been trying to get them to drink,
yeah,
plus
yeah,
the, I guess, active ingredients. Is that the right term?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we already have a small number of testers, a group of people testing out the beverages. They start drinking the eye drinks, and the earliest improvement they notice is within 4 to 5 days, not even a week. Notice their eyes are less burning toward the end of days.
Very
So we're
nice.
seeing those improvements already right now.
So you're tapping
So
into a market that already drinks the Gatorade, but how do you
hmm
go from you've got this idea to now you've got the product on the shelf? So what was your first step there?
beverage thing's always in the back of the head. I mean, we talk about it, internally with the family members, but we don't know anyone from the beverage industry.
Yes.
So we kind of put it off until, the pandemic came and the issue becomes so severe that I started calling around and trying to look for people to work with me pretty much. So that's how it all started.
What were the type of people in terms of their area of expertise that you were reaching out to that you needed to partner with or at least support this?
Well, the first one, I've spoken to a couple of doctors before. Everyone thought I was crazy,
Okay.
especially during the pandemic. The incomes, obviously people are worried about their own business. They're
Hmm.
not going to invest into extra money into something that totally unknown, trying to create something first of its kind in the world. So they're not sure how much time or how much money we need to pump into the project to get it going. That's the first thing.
Right.
So there are a couple of naysayers. I can tell you that. I mean, naysayers were saying that, no one will buy it because just looking at the ingredients, it looked horrible. Okay.
Okay.
Which it is. Honestly, it is.
And at this point, you don't have any expertise yourself in bringing a product to market, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So I went online, buy books about the beverage industry. I bought a couple books, and one of them was written by someone named Jorge Olson. He wrote a few books in the beverage industry, a
Okay.
very, very well-known guy. Later on, I recruited him to become my CMO. Yeah.
Nice.
So he's like a rock star in the beverage industry. Like, people from Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, all those companies. Very, very well-known guy. So I started really reading his books and realized, God, there's so much about the industry that I have zero idea. From you need to come up with a formulation. You need to make sure that the ingredient that you use is FDA approved. If not, then you got to go through all the testings. And then there's
Right.
the bottle, there's the production. Production is very different. There's the cold fill versus hot fill. There's the aluminum versus the plastic bottles. Everything is complete.
The books and Jorge gave you a lot of guidance in that way.
Yeah, very interesting read. Yeah.
But for somebody who's just starting up a side hustle like this, it's not generating income. How do you attract a CMO without, getting into specifics? Was it basically giving him a percentage of the company, or how did you be able to
Well,
do that?
initially, I signed up his coaching programs, mentoring programs.
Okay, that he offered.
He offered,
Got it.
yes. And
Okay.
then he's like a beauty pageant judge. Like he doesn't pick anybody. Like he has to look at the projects, see if there's a potential there and see whether I'm nice to work with, I guess. So there was a lot of back and forth initially. And I had tried to convince Jorge, hey, look, next time when you go out, go to a restaurant, go to airport, whatever, look around you. People really don't talk to each other anymore. They start using their devices
Yes.
whenever they have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And he never realized how serious the problem was until I told
Mm-hmm.
him that. And
Okay.
then I started sending sample to him. He tasted it.
Right.
So, oh, wow, that was very interesting. Yeah. And they start talking to his other doctor friends too. So they realized, God, this is such a serious problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we started. But when I reached out to Jorge, I already pretty much finalized our formulations because I've been working on it for like a year and a half before I reached out to Jorge.
Right. But after there's a couple of teaching points here, really, Roger, because you reached out to essentially a mentor, someone that
Mm-hmm.
already got the results that you're looking for. So you've got
Mm-hmm.
that guidance piece there. And then you developed it enough that it gave you credibility and you could guide him
Mm-hmm.
to see what an opportunity it was for him. So did you end
Yeah.
up giving him like piece of the company or something as an incentive to?
Later on. Yeah, just recently
Okay.
we agreed to give him a percentage of the company.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because obviously it's a startup company. We
Sure.
cannot afford to offer him cash.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. At this point, when you're starting to develop the idea, how many hours were you putting in as an optometrist? Was that full time for you?
Personally, I see patients 4 days a week in total.
Okay.
Okay, so the rest of time just spent on this project. Luckily, I do get up pretty early every day. 4:30, 5 o'clock. That's
Whoa.
pretty much the norm. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a lot of things done before my first patient came in at 9 o'clock. So that was a great thing. And also during lunchtime, if I had to schedule a meeting in my lunchtime, I would do it. And also after hours. So for me, that's the life. It's you're talking about trying to strike a balance between your personal life versus your business life. I think it's almost impossible if you want to be a very, very good entrepreneur.
Well, and you're an entrepreneur, but first and foremost, you're an optometrist, not
Hmm.
a mixologist. So how did you
Yeah.
figure that part out? I'm not asking you to give I'm not asking you to give away your secret recipe, but I'm wondering, you have to find a way to include the key ingredients to make the drink effective, but you're
Yeah.
also paying attention to the taste too.
Yeah.
And that's not your area of expertise. So how did you go about that?
That's why I start reaching out. When I decided to do this, committed to do this, I started calling all the formulation labs pretty much throughout the country.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a new term to me. A formulation
Yeah.
lab?
Yeah. They're laboratory companies. They actually will create the beverage for you. You just give them your idea. That's how most beverages on the market right now. That's how they develop their products. So they rarely do it internally. They always go out saying that, hey, I need to develop an energy drink, for example.
Okay.
And they will know, they will just throw a bunch of stuff there and then you just try them out, see if that works. So when I
Oh, wow.
reach out to a few companies, they either ignore me
Okay.
and they just say, cannot be done because we're adding omega-3 there, which is a lipid-based ingredients. You're adding a lipid-based ingredient into a beverage. It's going to be extremely challenging. Even if they had succeeded, it probably tastes like crap.
Okay.
So a lot of people just ignore it. They would say, cannot be done. And then unless they do a huge financial commitment with them, putting a $50,000 upfront. So finally, I found this company crazy enough to want to work with me.
Yeah.
But they talk to their manager, and manager say, why not just try it? Because they also formulate some very unique beverage before, first one on the market, actually. So they say, okay, let's try that. So I give them the formulation that I need, which is ARAS2 formulation, the vitamin formulation, plus the omega-3, and then it has to be sugar-free. Okay, that's number one thing, sugar-free, and it has to taste good. And they were saying that what tastes good is almost impossible to do unless I'm willing to, add some artificial flavoring, which I say no, I don't want that because I'll be drinking it every day. My kids will be drinking them, every
Right.
day.
Yeah.
My friends, right? And because of my requirements, we're butting heads after
Sure.
close to a year because everything that came back just tastes so bad.
Mm,
And
okay.
and my two kids, they were tester number one, tester number two.
I love
And
that. Yeah.
eventually, my older son would say, "Dad, stop bringing those back home. I'd rather go blind than drinking the sample you brought back.
Oh
It's
man.
just
Okay.
so bad."
At least they're honest with you. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounded pretty funny, but it also kind of hurt a little bit because I already spent a
Sure.
lot of money and time into the project.
Yep.
And then the lab wasn't too happy because I was keep saying sugar free, and no artificial flavoring. So eventually, I kind of settled. I made a little compromise. Just add a little sugar there.
Okay.
So we only add 5 grams of sugars. So we came up with a formulation, and that was good enough. The low sugar, still extremely low calories. So and we use all real fruits. We don't, we use this real strawberry,
Hmm.
real orange, real lemonade to produce the beverages. And
Nice.
then all the key ingredient that's scientifically backed. So unlike some of the beverage out, some of the products out there saying they improve your dry eye, but if you Google the ingredients, God, there's no white paper to back it up.
So how long did it take between the time that formulation lab said, okay, we'll work with you to the point where you had the finished product in your hand?
The first one probably took about a year, a little bit more than a year.
Okay.
From back and forth, and then I
Yeah.
even drove 2 hours there to there, that just sit there all day just drinking all the samples, and eventually my belly's filled with
Yeah.
different juices,
Oh,
and
God.
your taste buds just feel numb, so they'll taste the same to me. Yeah, so we did that a few times.
You mentioned that you got a whole series of no until one finally said yes, but the one
Yeah.
before it said, yeah, we'll take a chance on you if you want to give us 50 grand. So you're saying that that's
No,
not
no,
the,
it's not the same company. Yeah, this company is definitely a lot more reasonable. Yeah, there are labs asking $50,000 upfront before they will
wow.
even. Yeah.
Yeah. But typically then for somebody who wants to bring a drink to market, how do these formulation companies work? Like you said, you give them the specifics. I need these ingredients, no sugar, need it to taste good. How do they then work as far as costs normally?
Well, cost-wise, obviously, is different. Most company they charge a fee per flavor. Okay.
Okay.
One flavor is one fee, and first flavor is always the most expensive one.
Sure. Like any
Okay.
prototype kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and then they'll write a project that you only have, a certain month, like 3 months, 6 months to come out to finalize your decisions. They cannot continue to do it. It's the unlimited
Like a
number
year, like you did.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, luckily they didn't, we didn't have that kind of agreement there because they're not sure
Yes.
whether it can even be done. Right. So,
Right.
so literally this, I'm the guinea pigs too. So, and they say I was the only doctor ever walk into their lab asking for this. No doctor ever done that before.
Nice.
So that's pretty much, you sign a contract with them, sign the NDA, because especially when it comes to this product, first in the world, they couldn't even find this.
Mm-hmm.
We signed the NDA, signed the agreement, and then they start working on it, and all the ingredient, they have to source the ingredient.
Okay. And because you are dealing with a product that the consumer is ingesting, does it require a different level of certification?
No, not really. The lab, number one, we use all proven ingredients. So it's been around, the vitamin's been on the shelf for, I don't know, 15 years now. So it's readily available, except no one ever make it into a beverage format. Okay, that's the first one. And obviously the omega-3 has been around as well. And then after we finalize the formulations, because the lab, they have the responsibility to provide only FDA approved ingredients.
Ah, okay.
Anything, yeah. So
Got it. Which is
and
why
after,
they source the ingredients. Okay,
so
got it.
all these suppliers, they need to have the FDA basically certificates to input to. We only use the U.S. suppliers.
Got it.
Okay.
I was just going to say,
So,
and for our non-US listeners, FDA is federal, no, Food and Drug.
Yeah, Food and Drug Administrations. So, and even after that, I personally reach out to FDA behind their back to verify whatever they say was correct. So
Okay.
I spoken to the lady from FDA, send her information, and she was like, "Oh yeah, this ingredients, it's definitely all FDA approved."
You didn't need FDA approval because the individual ingredients were already FDA approved.
Mhm.
Am I hearing
Yep.
that right? Okay.
Yep. As long as you're not adding anything strange, anything completely new to FDA into your formulation, then you're fine.
Right.
Hmm.
And if you deal with reputable formulation lab, then that shouldn't be an
Yeah.
issue. Okay.
Yeah. And also make sure the factory, when it comes to beverage factory, they have a different terms called co-packer. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure the co-packers are FDA approved, which most co-packers are FDA approved. And then they have their license, everything. They're in the business long enough. Reputation is very important.
Sure.
So if you have to check out their reputations and talk to people in the industries, see those people actually pay on time, or their product are always being returned all the time, and those people, I mean, you have to do your own due diligence.
Yes.
And obviously after that, there's the shelf test, because if a product comes out, you can't just sell it to anybody. So you have to send it to labs, different labs, a third party that does all the shelf life testings. So you have to wait until initial report comes back before you can actually go into a bigger production. We did a small batch test productions first,
Okay.
and then send those to the shelf life testers.
What's the shelf life on your product?
Right now, minimum is 24 months. There are two types of testings they can conduct. One is the expedited testings. So they will simulate the product's been sitting on the shelf, going through the transportation under high heat, things like this. So that's a little faster.
Yeah, that was my question, because you can't wait for 24 months to
Yeah. So
delay it.
So basically we're conducting those two tests in parallel. One is an expedited, the other one is in real time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the expedited one, it's already beyond 24 months. So we're aiming for 36 months right now. We should have a 36 months result by the end of October, I believe. Yeah.
Right. So you get the idea, you give the formulation lab its specifics. Once you've got the finished product there, then you've got the shelf test. And then also, like you said, the bottling or co-pack.
The co-packers.
The co-packers.
Yeah.
And what's the minimum quantity that you had to get?
Initial test batch, luckily this co-packers was also very, very startup friendly. A lot of co-packers are not.
Okay.
A lot of them saying that you need to order a half million bottles first.
Right.
And one even said 1 million bottle before they would even consider.
Oh,
so
man.
how can a startup company even afford to do that?
Yeah.
So we finally found one that's startup friendly. So we started with a very small batch, only about 4,000 bottles per flavors. Yeah,
okay.
Around there. Yeah, 3,800 for 4,000 bottles.
It's a lot better than a million.
There's always production loss. So, but
sure.
you cannot continue to do this test batch with them. So they want to make sure that you have the small batch ready, and for some additional testing, some initial, basically promotional events.
Sure.
Then the next batch is 7,500 gallon, which is huge too. That's about 50,000 bottles.
They do the actual bottling.
Yeah, they do everything. I actually went there, went to drove 6 hours, go to their factories, and get up really early. How they see how they mix the ingredients together, and it's just very, very fun and
I was going to say that must have been so exciting, for you. Yeah.
So it's completely different industry, and met some of the nicest people there. And
nice. Are you able? And willing, I suppose, to share the name of that startup friendly co-packer?
It's in Watsonville. Okay, it's called HA Riders and Sons.
Rider.
Yeah, it's a family RIDERS.
Nice. And where are they out of?
They're family owned. They're in Watsonville, California. Yeah, just about maybe an hour south of San Francisco.
Family owned. I love that, which is probably one of the reasons they're startup friendly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it will pay off big for them.
They're super nice. Nicest people there working there. You can just tell they've been in the business for a long time. They also say they've been in business like 40 some years. Saying that was the first doctor ever walk into the facility asking for it. So, you can call me crazy right now, but hopefully down the road you can call me a visionary.
There you go. There's that fine line between crazy and
there's
visionary.
a fine line there. Exactly.
Well, we talked about the FDA certification piece, but how about when it comes to, I don't know what the term would be, medical claims, or saying this is going to help you? What does that testing look like to be able to?
We're not making any medical claims right now.
Okay.
That's also advice from that lady from FDA. we do use the same ingredients as vitamins, just like when you go and buy the vitamins, the ARAS2, they're not going to tell you, look, we guarantee your your macular pigmentation will improve and or your dry will improve. So they don't make any claims like that on the bottles.
Okay.
So same thing, we're not making any claim. Just like Gatorade, they're not making any claim. You for sure
Yes.
get you hydrated, or vitamin water for sure. Yeah.
Got it.
So
All
same
right.
thing. So as long as we avoid those mistakes, then we're okay.
Okay. So you didn't have to go to the cost and time of basically doing the research where you've got people taking it and right.
We just use the known ingredients. Yeah. Every doctor know about the vitamins.
Right.
And so the same ingredients, same ratios, except we added actual fruit and coconut water there to keep people, hydrated.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a number of steps along the way that to me sounds like pretty big capital costs. For the benefit of someone thinking of bringing a beverage to the market, how capital intensive is it? Can you give us an idea?
I would say you probably need to have from 0 to the first batch ready for some testing and initial market, $200,000 to $250,000 to do it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, we create something from first of its kind, so it's a little different. If you're just creating a alcoholic beverage or an energy drink, I don't think it would be that pricey.
Okay.
Personally, I don't think so, because a lot of labs would just modify their from their previous formulation and then come up with the one very, very quickly.
Right.
But my product is complete different. First in the world. I mean, we searched it. There's nothing like this.
For someone with an idea for some type of drink, though, I suppose they could get at least a quote or an idea from the formulation lab of how much those costs would be before they would really have to spend a lot of money. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I would say yes.
But they'd have to have somehow the credibility for the formulation lab to even spend the time to talk to them.
Yeah. If you're creating something like this, like I said even earlier, I did tell quite a few labs, I'm a doctor, I see these issues, and they still kind of ignore me because most doctors are not very good businessmen,
right.
Number one.
Right, yeah.
And number two, they would think, well, if such a great idea, how come no one else was making it? So they have that, I think a lot of them have that mentality. They're starting to doubt.
Right, yes. So you had investors.
Yeah.
And you still have your day job, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is a side hustle in development.
That's a side hustle, yeah. Yeah, I think eventually, we're at a juncture right now where I'm spending too much time on this project. I need to, a lot of time, reschedule patients because we have potential investors saying that I only have this time available, like Tuesday between 3 to 4, and I'm always complete booked between 3 to 4. What do? I got to schedule those 4 or 5 patients. So we're pretty much at that juncture right now. I need to either hire another associate to come in to take over my patient load or do something else. I figure out another way to do it. Yeah, because, right now we have several trade shows pretty much planning right now to attend.
Okay. Yes.
Both in the eye care industry and also food and beverage industries too. So those trade shows, especially the first year or two, I'm pretty sure for the majority of them, I need to be there first,
right?
Because I'm the founders. They need to listen from my story and why I created this. Otherwise, they look at an ingredient, they have no idea.
Right.
Unless you're an eye doctor, they say, hey, this is the gold standards. Yeah.
So when did you release the product?
End of April. Yeah, that was officially that we had the website ready to go, things like this. Before that, we did a small testing, like a soft launch, just out of my office.
Right.
And trying to fine tune all the pitch phrases, how to describe products, things like this. And we're doing extremely well out of the practice. So the first test batch, we're pretty much completely sold out. Yeah, the first day, I think first 2.5 days, we sold 1,400 bottles. 1,400 bottles, yeah. So we only had 4,000 bottles for the campaign or the initial launch campaign, and in 2.5 days we sold about 1,400 bottles.
And how much do they sell for a bottle?
$3.75.
Okay.
Yeah, per bottles. And if you subscribe, go to our website, you can subscribe and you get a discount and also free shipping.
Got it.
Yeah, ideally you like to drink, if you're spending 2-3 hours minimum every day on your screen, on your devices, ideally you need to drink at least 1 bottle a day.
Okay. So how many hours now are you spending on the eye drink?
Per week, right now, probably I would say between 20 to 30 hours easily,
Okay. Plus your 4 days.
plus my 4 days seeing patients. There's no such thing as weekends, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. Whenever you need to have a meeting, Saturday afternoon, Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, you just go
Right.
and meet the potential investors.
And what keeps you going?
I do things for a purpose. Hopefully, building something that can benefit not just million but billions of people
Mm-hmm.
worldwide. That's my passion, and also kind of you can say trying to build a legacy.
Nice.
Yeah, yes, and then hopefully I become someone in the history book that say being called crazy a few times and eventually being called visionary, right?
From crazy to visionary.
Yeah.
Love it.
So hopefully this will definitely be the Gatorade for the eyes down the road. Yeah. Yeah. Just like Coca-Cola was the formulation of Coca-Cola was developed by a doctor, right? 100 years ago. Yeah. So
There you go.
hey, you never know. You never know. 100 years from now. Yeah.
Well, I understand it all hasn't been a string of successes. Talk to us about a couple of key face plants, as you put it, when things didn't quite go as planned for the eye drink.
I would say the first one was the all the samples that we received. It got to a point it was so frustrating. My kids refused to to taste it, and then even my staff, my patient, because I only gave the sample to patient that have been with me for 15, 20 years.
Right. Yes.
I don't want to give them to a new patient. Oh my God, this tastes like
Yeah.
crap. Right. So
Yeah.
the first several months was extremely frustrating. All the sample came back. If you look at the ingredients, yeah, they look extremely healthy for the eye. No sugar, nothing, right?
Right.
But it was, I keep putting money there, time and money there, and then not seeing the results. That was the frustrating part to me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember those Buckley's cough medicine commercials. It tastes awful and it works. So they didn't hide that bad taste, right?
Yeah.
Where's the eye drink sold today?
Right now, it's just from our website,
Okay.
theeyedrink.com.
Mhm.
And the phase one of the business is to sell it through doctor's office. And then we just signed up our first sales manager in the eye care industry 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So we're planning on the first trade show in less than 2 months in Las Vegas.
Great.
So hopefully we'll sign up a bunch of doctors there. So you'll be able to either purchase from their offices or through their websites as well. So that's phase one. And phase two is obviously those, specialty supermarket, like a Sprouts or Whole Food. Down the road, it's, other, 7-Eleven or other CVS, Rite Aid, those places. We're also exploring possibility to sell it to a huge employer like Google or Oracle. Their campuses got thousands of people stare at a computer all day. So imagine having this available in their vending machine or at their cafeteria.
Yes.
So to benefit their people. So that's and also school districts that we're planning on selling this as school districts too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really like that idea to selling it to those tech firms or really any organization that their people are on the screen all the time.
Yeah.
Because there's probably a number of budget line items that this could fall under.
Yeah.
In terms of like health and welfare
Yep.
or just, all sorts of things. Nice. Well, in terms of the doctors then, is selling them in their offices, is that like a affiliate marketing
Yes.
type of thing? Is that okay?
Yeah. They'll be our affiliates.
And then obviously for places like Whole Foods or the local convenience stores, then that would just be regular product placement.
Yes.
So I guess that's going to be a whole other learning for you is connecting with those wholesalers.
Yeah.
and
But luckily I have
distributors.
Jorge. Yeah, he's my CMO. He's been in the industry forever. So he knew all the company, the distributors.
Right.
He knows the whole plan,
Yeah.
whole channels, everything.
Got it.
So a lot of people were surprised that I was able to recruit him as my CMO. And so took a lot of convincing. Well, initially it took a lot of convincing, but after that he started doing his own due diligence, realizing, my God, everyone's on their computer, cell phone. And then whenever he's out at the airport or any restaurant, he's looking at people. Everyone's on their devices.
Right.
So he never realized. I mean, he knew that people were relying on their device, but he had no idea it was such a pandemic right now. And he started talking to his friends. Yeah.
Because you're selling solely off the website now, what have you learned about packaging and labeling, that might surprise someone trying to launch a physical product? Because that's another
Yeah, you got to
series
find
of
the right
learning.
company. Obviously, you got to find the right people to drive the bus, so to speak. There are companies that actually specialize in packaging, also packaging design. You got to find those people, and then you got to ask for their references.
Hmm.
What product have they designed, and whether they know about, because FDA has got their own requirements. What
Okay.
should be listed there,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
The ingredients, and then so the company usually, if you find a big companies, usually they're very, very experienced in doing that. But to me, one frustrating part in the eye care industry, in the beverage industry versus eye care industry, I probably, probably upset a lot of people or anger a lot of people if I say this. In the beverage industry, almost there's no sense of urgency for a lot of people. Even when they have a contract or when they verbally tell you, look, we will finalize your design in 4 to 6 weeks. A lot of times that means 4 to 6 months, or maybe
Oh,
I exaggerate
man.
a little bit, maybe 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
And then, especially when it comes to designers, and in the eye care industry, at least even my personality, if I promise someone that this will be done in 4 weeks, I'll be done before 4 weeks.
Of course.
That's
Yeah.
just the way it should be.
Hmm.
Okay. But not in the eye care industry, not in especially the designer or in label design company, the bottle design companies. And I was advised by Jorge saying that those designers, you don't want to rush them. Okay. Even when you're upset, even
Okay.
when they told you that they'll deliver the final design in 4 to 6 weeks, you don't want to rush them. You don't want to upset them because those people, they work on inspirations, whatever.
Sounds like Jorge was an incredible feather in your cap.
Yeah.
Well, I can't
So,
let you go, Dr. Wu, without asking you for your best actionable eye hacks that our side hustle community can do to improve their eye health.
well, vegetable, spinach, kale. That's, right now it's extremely important. Easier said than done. Drink plenty of water. I think
Okay.
hydration, it's an issue right now. Yeah, stay away from your devices.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
What are we doing right now?
Yeah, don't use your device in the dark.
I would imagine a lot of people don't connect water with eye health.
Yeah, our tear film is 94 to 98% water. So a lot of people were saying that I'm taking my vitamin, I'm taking my fish oil, but my eyes still feel dry. So next question is, do you drink enough water, like water?
Mm. Yes,
And
right.
people say, oh, I drink coffee all day or I drink energy drinks all day. But those caffeine, they're natural diuretics. They will make your eyes even drier. Or they drink black teas, like a lot of my patients, they drink black teas. You're not actually helping your eyes by drinking those. I mean, there's a lot of other health benefits, all
Hmm.
the antioxidant issues.
Right,
So you got to drink water too. But a lot of people didn't realize that.
right.
So getting hydrated is very, very important. Even if you look at some of the white papers, white studies on the omega-3, EPA, PHA, a lot of studies, or there's conflicting informations. Some study will say the omega-3 help your dry eyes. Some say no, didn't really help that much.
Mm.
But one thing that people forgot to take into account is how much water they drink, those testers drink. So they never mention that at all.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's why you
Yeah.
get that conflicting
Yes.
data right there. So by taking omega-3 and still drink plenty of water, I think it will benefit tremendously to your dry eyes.
Cool. What's the best way for our listeners to connect with you?
I think LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn is probably the best way to do it. I'm not exactly a social media savvy person.
Okay. Too busy.
Yeah. But even LinkedIn, I have a marketing team actually manage my social media. So, but if there's a personal message to me,
Yes.
most of the time, they would just notify me right away.
Right.
So either in between patients or toward
Right.
the end of the day, evening, I'll try to respond to those. But LinkedIn is probably the best way to reach out to me.
Okay. I'll drop a link in the show notes. And would you like me to drop a link in the show notes for the drink as well?
Sure.
The eye drink.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. The website is theeyedrink.com.
Perfect. So what's your best tip to inspire others to start or grow their side hustle dream?
You got to make a big commitment. And once you make that commitment there, definitely go do it. Okay.
Mm.
Don't do it like a half-assed, like, spend a couple hours, see how things go. Things will never take off.
Right.
Yeah, you need to have a big commitment and make sure you have an action list. Make sure you do those. And then also, if you're looking for between your personal life and your entrepreneur life, trying to strike a balance, I don't think that will ever happen. And hopefully you're a very understanding spouse.
And somehow they're
yeah.
part of the team. And well, thank you so much, Roger, for inspiring us to further explore our own ideas for a new product. And thank you so much for being today's Side Hustle Hero.
Thanks for having me here. It's been a pleasure.
I want to mention two quick things to wrap up. First, off camera, Roger and I talked about revenues and profit margins. If you're thinking about venturing into a beverage or really any physical product, as a side hustle, keep this in mind. Your product cost is likely going to be much higher at the beginning than it will be later on. That's because the more volume you can order from your contract manufacturer, the people who actually produce your product and may also act as your co-packer, the cheaper your cost per unit becomes. Now, inflation, of course, is another matter. And cost isn't just about the product itself. There's everything leading up to it, from turning your idea into a physical finished product to then getting people to know it actually exists. In Roger's case, one of the ways he's building awareness is by attending trade shows. But those can get expensive. Between the booth fee, the signage, marketing materials, hotel, transportation, food, and so on. Plus, you usually can't do a show solo, so you need support on the ground too. It really adds up. But here's the thing. If you've got a truly innovative product and you're committed, coming up with the cold hard cash isn't the only way to get there. In my book, The Way Success Works, there's a story about a young guy named Fraser Doherty. His entrepreneurial journey started at the age of 13, selling bacon and sausages door to door after school for a local entrepreneur. He loved it, and he was good at it. One thing led to another, and while eating toast at his grandmother's house one day, toast topped with her secret and much coveted jam, a major light bulb went on. He convinced her to teach him the recipe, and he decided he was not only going to go into the jam business, but he was going to revolutionize the jam industry. After his one and only jam making lesson, he raced home, raided his piggy bank. He had £2, about $3 at the time, bought a bag of oranges, a bag of sugar, and cooked up his first batch. Poured it into jars, put the jars in a bucket, and he was out the door before they were even fully cooled. He then hit the streets selling door to door. He completely sold out that day, doubled his money, and he was hooked. Now, I'll skip over the part of the book how by age 16, he was selling over 1,000 jars a week, and by 18, got his brand, Super Jam, into the much-loved UK grocery store chain, Waitrose. And that's a big deal. Waitrose has what's known as a royal warrant, which allows them to sell to the royal family. But here's the part that connects to today's episode. One of the three things that Waitrose senior jam buyer told him that he'd need to do before they'd accept his product was lower his production costs. That meant leaving his parents' kitchen and moving into a proper factory. Basically a co-packer and contract manufacturer situation. The trouble was, to do that, he needed about $75,000 for labeling, jars, ingredients, everything. And neither he nor his parents had that kind of money, and he was too young to get a bank loan. Most people at that point would have stopped. But Fraser, he focused on, how can I? And how did he do it? He contacted every factory he could find in England and Scotland. He was out of Edinburgh, pitching them on his vision to revolutionize the jam business. He asked them to front the costs for the first run, and then he would repay them as the product sold. As you can imagine, every single one of them said no. Except one. And that's all he needed. That one yes is what got his jam into stores. So whatever your side hustle is, or will be, there will be roadblocks. There will be things that you can't figure out or don't know how to do or don't think you can afford. But if you're truly committed and focused on your desired outcome, the right people and ideas and opportunities will start showing up. You just have to stay in the mindset of, how can I? And if I did know the answer, what would it be? Because there'll always be reasons why you can't. Coming up with those is the easy part. But once you shift your focus to what's possible, get ready to amaze yourself. That's a wrap for today. If our chats are sparking your entrepreneurial spirit and providing valuable insights, consider showing your support by visiting sidehustlehero.com/support. That's where you can shoot me a virtual coffee. It's a real thing and a fun way to give the show a caffeinated thumbs up. Thank you so much. In the episode description, you'll find links to connect with Roger, as well as the full show notes, which live at our website, sidehustlehero.com. If you're enjoying what you're seeing in this podcast, it would be so appreciated if you would take a moment and add your comment, share the episode, and please subscribe. It'll let others know that there's valuable content here to help them start and grow their side hustle. Thanks for watching, and hustle on.